were a people who worshipped the God of Abraham. Yet, even when the Jews had consolidated their control over the Holy Land, they refused to invite these refugees to return to their homes, or to allow them to do so. To this day, more than 50 years later, the Jewish state adamantly refuses to allow the return of the refugees to their homes, while extending an open invitation to Jews, wherever they may be in the world, to come and reside in the Holy Land. This is not virtuous conduct. Rather, it is satanic. The prophecies of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicate that the Zionist state of Israel will eventually betray Banu Israel and cast them before the very people who have been relentlessly oppressed by Israel with the most shameless and undisguised oppression. Yasser Arafat is also an impostor who does not represent the Palestinians who were dispossessed of their homes and have been relentlessly oppressed by Israel for more than 50 years. Many have lived in refugee camps in Lebanon and elsewhere for more than 50 years. Arafat can betray them just as Israel is betraying the Jews. Those betrayed by Arafat will eventually be at the vanguard of the Muslim army that will confront and punish the Jews resident in the Holy Land when the state of Israel abandons them. That Muslim army has already demonstrated its fighting prowess in southern Lebanon, and the Israeli withdrawal from southern Lebanon, which effectively abandoned the surrogate Christian army in that territory after it had fought on Israel's behalf, is a prelude to the more dramatic event that is to come. The racial oppression of the Ishmaelites by the secular Jewish state of Israel has dramatically intensified the already awesome religious, political, and economic oppression in the Holy Land. That oppression is constantly increasing. It is in this context that we can now understand the ominous prophecy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who declared, "You will surely fight the Jews, and you will surely kill them. And this will continue until even the stones will speak, saying, 'O Muslim, there is Jew hiding behind me, so come and kill him.'" Sahih Bukhari. Jerusalem in the Quran. By Imran N. Hossein. Part 1. Chapter 12. A Quranic explanation of the return of the Jews to the Holy Land. And say, "Praise be to Allah, who will soon show you his signs, so that you would know them. And your Lord is not unmindful of all that you do." Quran, Al-Naml, 27-93. We live in an age in which the Jews have returned to Jerusalem to reclaim it, after a divinely imposed exile of almost 2,000 years. Jerusalem flourishes today, exercising power and influence over the entire region. The State of Israel has secured advantageous peace treaties with such client states as Egypt and Jordan. Israel has also made agreements with the Palestine Liberation Organization, progressively diluting its opposition to the establishment of the Jewish state. Even Saudi Arabia has entered into the same Israeli embrace, acting very secretively until its dramatic emergence to offer the Saudi plan that includes recognition of the Jewish state. The city of Medina, in the meantime, has returned to being a backwater city, wielding no influence whatsoever on regional or world developments. Adding further to this insult to Medina's injury, the Saudi state, which emerged on the ruins of the Caliphate, was created as a client state of Britain. When USA took over from Britain as the ruling state in the world, the Saudi state became a client state of USA. Saudi Arabia, like Israel, has been dependent from the very beginning of its existence on first Britain, and then USA for its very survival. The Saudi Wahhabi alliance in the Saudi state has faithfully preserved that client state status ever since 1916, when Abdelaziz ibn Saud accepted a British offer of £5,000 a month in return for an alliance which would allow the British to pursue their objective of wresting control of the Hejaz from Ottoman Islamic rule. The Wahhabi religious movement accommodated this client state status with the Christian and Jewish West, always holding the view that the Christians and Jews were closer to them than the rest of the Muslim world. The Wahhabis considered non-Wahhabi Muslims to be disbelievers, accusing all of committing shirk. While the State of Israel also emerged as a client state of the West, The fundamental difference between the two client states, Israel and Saudi Arabia, is that the state of Israel is destined to not only rid itself of that client-state relationship, but to emerge as the superpower that will succeed both Britain and USA as the ruling state. In the world, when that occurs, the Saudi state will then become a client state of Israel. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophesied that this day would come, but it would hold an ominous promise for Israel. Narrated Mu'adh ibn Jabal, the Prophet peace be upon him said, "The flourishing state of Jerusalem will be when Yathrib, Medina in modern-day Saudi Arabia, is in ruins. The ruined state of Yathrib will be when the Great War comes. The outbreak of the Great War will be at the conquest of Constantinople, and the conquest of Constantinople, when the Dajjal, the false Messiah or Antichrist, comes forth." He, the Prophet, struck his thigh or his shoulder with his hand, and said, "This is as true as you are here, or as you are sitting," meaning Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Sunan, Abu Dawud. The flourishing state of Jerusalem today substantially fulfills the above prophecy. Already, Israel has successfully defied the President of USA, as well as the Security Council of the UN, both of whom demanded an Israeli military withdrawal from the Palestinian West Bank. This was after Israel had responded to a wave of Palestinian human bombers, who are Shahada, and should not be referred to as suicide bombers. This will increase when Israel wages her biggest ever war. That war will deliver to Israel a dramatic territorial expansion. The above prophecy of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will then be more clearly understood. The predictable collapse of the US economy and successful Israeli defiance of US demand that Israel give up the territory acquired through war would result in the complete fulfillment of the prophecy. Similarly, Yathrib's, Medina's ruined state is already substantially fulfilled in the client state status with the godless USA. When Israel takes over as the superpower of the world, and the Saudi state becomes a client state of Israel, the result would be complete fulfillment of the prophecy. The implication of the above is that the Muslims now stand on the brink of a great war that Israel would perhaps jointly initiate with Kemalist Turkey's armed forces. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prophesied that war with Turkey, whose military have now become a tool of Israel. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, "The hour will not be established till you fight a nation wearing hairy shoes, until you fight the Turks, who will have small eyes, red faces, and flat noses. And their faces will be like flat shields. And you will find that the best people are those who hate responsibility of ruling most of all, till they are chosen to be the rulers. And the people are of different natures. The best in the pre-Islamic period are the best in Islam. A time will come when any of you will love to see me, rather than to have his family and property double." Sahih Bukhari. The war may commence as a Turkish attack on Syria that will be used by Israel to provoke a greater conflagration in the region. But at the end of it all, the state of Israel will emerge as the ruling state in the world. Subsequent to this event, Dajjal would emerge in a day that would be like our day. That is, he would appear in our dimension of time, and hence in our world. It is certain that he would appear in Jerusalem as the ruler of the state of Israel. When Dajjal, the false Messiah, appears, it is at that time that the true Messiah, the son of Mary, would return. He would kill Dajjal, and then a Muslim army would destroy the state of Israel. The Quran prophesied the return of the Jews to the Holy Land, and also explained its implications. There are many Quranic declarations and many prophecies and pronouncements of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam pertaining to the destiny of Jerusalem. The reader should direct careful attention to the following 10 declarations concerning the destiny of Jerusalem. Both the Quran and the Ahadith affirm that Jesus alayhi al-salam would one day return to the world. At that time, Jews would have no alternative but to believe in him as the Messiah. They would then be destroyed, but would die with the certain knowledge that the truth, to which they had clung, was actually falsehood, while the rejected messages of Jesus alayhi al-salam and of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were in fact the truth. They will thus die with the certain knowledge that they would enter into hell. After they boasted of their crucifixion of Jesus alaihi al-salam, Allah expelled them from the Holy Land. The Quran then revealed the destiny of Jerusalem and of the Jews as follows. A Jewish diaspora of bits and pieces scattered all over the earth. Jews banned from returning to Holy Land to reclaim it. Possibility for Jews to be forgiven by Allah, the Merciful, if they believe in the Prophet who would be Ummi unlettered and Gentile. Divinely ordained return of the Jews to the Holy Land at the end time, the last stage of the last age. Gog and Magog responsible for the return of the Jews to the Holy Land. A warning to the Jews that divine punishment can be repeated. A warning of the worst punishment ever for the Jews. Spiritual blindness when the time for the final punishment comes. The body of Pharaoh of the Exodus would be recovered, and that would indicate that the Jews would now suffer the same fate that he suffered. Jews will have no alternative but to believe in Jesus as the Messiah when he returns, but it would then be too late to save them from horrible punishment and from the hellfire. 1. A Jewish diaspora of bits and pieces scattered all over the earth. When Allah Most High expelled the Jews from the Holy Land after their rejection of the Messiah and their attempt to kill him, he made a declaration which revealed that this new diaspora would be different. Previously, in Babylon, the Jews had remained as a homogeneous community living in one geographical location. But on the occasion of their second expulsion, Allah Most High declared that this time it would be different. And we dispersed them as separate communities all over the earth. Quran, Al-Araf, 7-168. This declaration of the Quran was spectacularly fulfilled when, for over 2,000 years, the Jews remained dispersed all over the world. They lived during this period of time in Yemen, Morocco, Iraq, Iran, Egypt, Jordan, Libya, Ethiopia, Arabia, Syria, Turkey, etc. The strangely scattered Jewish diaspora, which lasted for some 2,000 years, was meant to function as a sign to the Jews of divine anger and punishment. And many Jews recognized it as such. 2. Jews banned from returning to Holy Land to reclaim it. After expelling the Jews, Allah Most High placed a ban prohibiting their return to that land. They could come back as tourists, but they could not return in order to reclaim it. That ban became a historical reality and remained in force for all to see for some 2,000 years. And this constituted a dramatic confirmation of the declaration of the Quran in Surah Al-Anbiya. There is a ban on a town which we have destroyed, that they the people of the town shall not return to the town in order to reclaim it. Quran, Al-Anbiya, 21-95. As has previously been demonstrated, that town mentioned refers to Jerusalem. That divine ban on the Jews prohibiting their return to Jerusalem and the Holy Land to reclaim it was meant to function as a sign to the Jews of divine anger and punishment. It was also meant to convey to them that they were no longer the chosen people. 3. Possibility for Jews to be forgiven by Allah, the Merciful, if they believe in the Prophet, who would be Ummi unlettered and Gentile. Even after Allah Most High had expelled the Jews from the Holy Land, and then banned their return to Jerusalem to reclaim it, the Quran declared that it was still possible for them to earn forgiveness from Allah Most Forgiving. It may be that your Lord would have mercy on you. Quran, Banu Israel, 17-8. Allah Most High gave them a period of time during which He was prepared to forgive them if they mended their ways, sought His forgiveness, and returned to the religion of Abraham alaihi al-salam. But there was only one door through which that forgiveness could be obtained. The Quran addressed a Banu Israel who had already received both the Torah and the Injil, Gospel of Jesus, and informed them of the path to forgiveness as follows. Those who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, whom they find mentioned in their own scriptures in the law and the gospel, for he commands them what is just, and forbids them what is evil. He allows them as lawful what is good and pure, and prohibits them from what is bad and impure. He releases them from their heavy burdens and from the yokes that are upon them. So it is those who believe in him, honor him, help him, and follow the light which is sent down with him. The Quran is they who will achieve salvation. Quran Al-Araf 7-157. Thus, in accepting, believing, and following the last prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, forgiveness could be earned. There would be a number of signs by which it would be known that the time given to Banu Israel, in which to seek forgiveness, had now expired. Among those signs would be the release of Dajjal and of Gog and Magog into the world. Both of these took place during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 17 months after he had lived in Medina amongst the Jews. By this time had become quite clear that the Jews had rejected him and the Quran and were conspiring to destroy Islam. At that moment, Allah Most High sent down revelation decreeing that the Kaaba be restored as the Qibla. This change of Qibla from Jerusalem to Makkah indicated that the one and only window of opportunity open to the Jews to earn divine forgiveness and mercy was now closed. The last age had now commenced, and the inevitable punishment of the Jews could no longer be averted. It was a thing decreed. Although the last age had commenced, and the door to divine mercy had been closed, the Jews still had to wait before their final punishment was to occur. During much of the time before the countdown to final punishment would begin, the Jews would actually find sanctuary amongst Muslims. Shame is pitched over them like a tent wherever they are found, except when under a covenant of protection from Allah and from men. They draw on themselves wrath from Allah, and pitched over them is the tent of destitution. This because they rejected the signs of Allah and slew the prophets in defiance of right.